Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Nostalgia Podcast. I am your host, Gene Arona, joined as always by...
What's going on, everybody? This is Dave.
All right, today we're going to take a trip back to the 90s, and we're going to talk about collectibles, which in the 90s was a huge thing. Trend-wise, you would have seen a lot of stuff regarding Beanie Babies, Pokemon, cards specifically, but also the games, but mostly the cards. Various McDonald's collectibles tied into movies and other things. Beanie Baby being another big piece there. Pogs, Furby, Tamagotchi, Trolls. So lots of stuff. I'm going to start off, Dave, with you. What did you collect and why?
Well, I can go back even to the late 80s.
Okay.
I had received like a milk crate full of comic books that were from the 80s. That's why I say there. And it had the Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Thor, X-Men, Superman, Iron Man comics from the 80s.
Okay.
I'm sure they're worth good money now, but as a kid, of course, I didn't care about all that. And like most things, I got rid of that. So that was one of the things that I had as a collection. You'd mentioned Pogs and Slammers.
Wait, what's the difference between Pogs and Slammers?
Pogs were the little cap things. Slammers were the big metal pieces that you used to knock the caps over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got into that into the early 90s, especially when they were releasing the Star Wars, the Power Ranger ones.
Oh, they started branding those things, or licensing them, rather.
Hey, you don't remember the little bags of Doritos? You could get Star Wars ones out of there.
So I'll be honest with you. I knew people, right? Knew kids, my peers, that had Pogs and were into them. I wasn't into them. I don't think I had the coordination because I was a clumsy idiot. I still am as an adult, but...
And if you play the actual game, you could lose a lot of good ones quick. Because you stack them up like a tower, and then you throw the slammer, and then whatever one's flipped up, you got to keep those.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and there were a lot of those I did not want to get rid of.
So right there, I'm gonna jump in and just remind folks, adults, we know this, any younger people listening to this, nowadays, when your kids go to school, there's all kinds of notes coming home from school saying, hey, don't send your kid to school with blah, 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 right? Because they don't want to hear from parents complaining that, little Billy took his blah, blah, blah collection to school and didn't come home with it, right? That wasn't the case. It was wild, wild west back then. You went to school with something and you didn't come home with it. Well, that's on you.
Yeah, Pogs, Slammers, G.I. Joes, even Game Boys and Game Gears.
Oof.
Those were at school. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd see kids playing that at lunch.
That's true.
Or at breakfast in the morning.
Yes. Commonly, quite commonly, in fact.
And even, recess on the playground.
Okay. So you mentioned comics. I had some as well. It's actually one of the few things I still have into my adult years. I didn't have a lot of them. I will say that. I had a small comic collection that I was active in grabbing stuff for probably a couple years. And then I stopped collecting, but I never got rid of those. I kept them in a old LA Raiders popcorn tin that is, I'm looking at right now in the corner of the room. My mom held on to it for some reason. So I still have, it was granted probably 40 comics, 50 comics, nothing huge, including the 2 Infinity Gauntlet comics that are over your right shoulder right now. One of the few things I held on to. I love those comics, but yeah, it's bittersweet. I loved them. I'm glad that I still have them. There's many more things I still wish I had. I do have those.
Something else that into back in the day, the sports trading cards.
Okay.
The football, the basketball, the baseball, especially the Topps brand, because you'd always get that really hard piece of gum.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, I had to have that gum. That started me on the sports trading cards. And then, if you remember, if you do or not, Whataburger, they had released, you remember Nolan Ryan when he was a big thing? Whataburger had released souvenir cups, and each cup had a different picture of Nolan Ryan on it.
Oh, that's cool.
I still have those cups.
Okay.
My grandfather kept those. And then he kept some of the trading cards that I had. None of them were in mint condition. They're all bent and whatever, but like the comics thing for you, I have some of those sports cards, and it's nice to still have.
Okay. So sports cards was interesting for me. One of the many things I wish I still had that I don't. I had basketball primarily, NBA, and then also the Marvel trading cards they had back then. I had the entire complete box set of the Dream Team when the NBA went to the Olympics and dominated by like 60 points a game. I had that complete box set. I loved that thing so much, and I wish I still had it because.
I had so many Jordan cards. I even had his baseball card.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, I can see why you wish you. So, and by the way, Dave, I mentioned this in our pre-show. My daughter asked me like a week ago, and Grant, she's a teenager. She's like, "Dad, do you regret getting rid of any toys from when you were younger?" And that is such a loaded question for someone our age because we don't just regret not holding on to certain things. We have the benefit of hindsight, and some of those things we know for a fact would be worth a lot of money. And so, yes, there's many things that I wish that I still had. And that's going to be a lot of the things we talk about in this conversation, listing things off. It's like, oh, yeah, I had that. I collected that thing. I loved that thing. I do not have it anymore. Wish I still did. But it's what it is, right?
Yeah, like action figures, cards, comics. Yeah, a lot of things.
What action figures were you into?
Turtles, G.I. Joes, especially the big Hall of Fame G.I. Joes. They were like a foot tall.
Oh, yeah.
I
Wait,
love
are
it.
those the ones that had the fabric clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved those. And then my biggest thing with all the little action figures, though, was the little weapons. And I remember I had this box, and I would just throw all the weapons in there so I could mix and match. But even like I had a lot of stormtroopers, so those were the bad guys in any scenario.
Yes. Okay, so first off, my action figures, primarily Ninja Turtles, but also because early 90s, that's when Batman the Animated Series and X-Men the Animated Series was airing live, going strong. So I tried to get as many Marvel superhero characters as I could. But you mentioned something. Stormtroopers were always the bad guys. That, to me, was the most magical thing about having action figures as a young person was you grabbed everything you had. Didn't matter what the IP was. They were all doing battle in some manner. And for me, don't ask me why, all of my characters, regardless of what they were, they would wrestle. I made them wrestle.
I would make mine do more to kung fu movies,
Nice.
like the kicks and everything, go all out. I would even go so far as to use my boombox and set it to certain music and play it to certain parts of my play because they were like movies that I would make.
That is phenomenal.
So I went all out. I would spend like all day Saturday setting everything up, and then Sunday I actually got to go through it all.
That would have been amazing for you to have on camera, right? Like little Dave.
Yeah, I wish.
Well, let me ask you this. I'll put you on the spot for a second. Thinking specifically about action figures, is there a particular thing from your action figure era that you wish you still had, or is it just something you really loved? And why I could see the wheels turning over there. Turtle Van, Dave. I had the Turtle Van, and I loved that thing so much.
Yeah, the Turtle Van. I also had the G.I. Joe big hovercraft.
Oh, dude.
And then I had Duke's jet.
Oh, like that F-15 looking thing?
Yeah.
Oh, man. By the way, that hover, I've never actually seen one of those in person. I only ever seen them in toy commercials.
I think I took it in the bathtub a couple of times, but I kept it out of the water mostly just because I'd have to set it out and let it dry.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time for that.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, I think I got mine at a garage sale. Somebody was getting rid of it. It was pretty cool.
All right.
But going back to the using my boombox, more of things I collected. I collected cassettes and then moved on to CDs. Like I had to have my music.
Nice. By chance, do you remember your first handful of CDs or cassettes you owned?
So the cassettes I got kind of like a hand-me-down. There was a bunch of metal and like bass cassettes. And then when I started CDs, it was more soundtrack based. Like I had a Biodome soundtrack.
Okay.
And then I'd gotten Presidents of the United States of America and Cake.
Okay.
Those were some of my first CDs that I got.
Okay, so do me a favor, Dave. Age yourself. Like, not your literal age, but like, are we talking early middle school when you got into your music kick?
Yeah, late elementary, like 4th, 5th grade.
Okay, so same situation here. Although for me, I will say firmly early middle school, like sixth grade-ish. But my first handful of albums I do remember because what was the order by mail thing? You get like
Columbia House.
Columbia House, 8, 10 CDs, whatever, pay a penny for shipping and then pay an arm and a leg for full price later on, which no one ever did. I had the Ozzy Osbourne Greatest Hits. I had a John Mellencamp Greatest Hits. I don't know why to this day. I can't explain that to you, sir. Metallica. It was the Reload album because my buddy already had loads, like what I need to have both. And then I had a couple more albums. I might have had a Backstreet Boys album. Thinking back on it, I don't know how that got in there exactly. But then everything else was pretty much 80s, kind of like hair metal rock type stuff. But I remember those being like my first albums. I'm like, these are mine. I got these. And I listened to the crap out of them.
Yeah. And before I started buying that, it was always, you'd put the cassette in and you would record a favorite song off the radio. So I had a few of those.
I don't think I ever did that even one time. Honestly, I could say that I didn't get into recording media until I watched my parents doing with VHS movies. And then even past that, it was like when we got into the CD burning phase, whenever that was. I don't really miss it, to be honest with you, but messed up a lot of CDs, trying and failing. It wasn't intuitive, folks.
No, I recorded a lot of movies off TV too.
Oh, yeah.
Back then.
Okay. The other thing I would add in there as far as stuff that I collected, I had a point in my life, a period of my life, late middle school, so call it 7th, 8th grade, through the first couple years of my high school career where I collected 1/18th scale die-cast cars. And a lot of that was, I wasn't a motorhead or anything, but my stepdad, Vern, loved old classic cars, muscle cars. And so I kind of collected them as a way to bond with him because I would show him my 1968 Shelby GT 500 that I'm looking at right now. And he'd like, oh yeah, I knew people that had those cars. And, or, I've worked on one of those because he was a gearhead. So that's kind of a way to bond with him. But I got a couple of those to this day. And again, the one I'm looking at, but not much else from that collection. But I will say that is pretty much it as far as me collecting things. Did you have anything else?
Most of my life has always been movies and video games. I'm still collecting all that today.
Hell yeah, dude.
So, you're going from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray, now to 4K. And games, you're going from cartridge to, arcades, cartridge, CDs, and now digital for a lot of them. But probably in high school, something I collected then was Magic the Gathering card game. Mm-hmm. A group of us would gather up and play that on the weekends, like all weekend long. Had a blast doing that. It was the kitchen table play.
Yes.
No tournaments or anything, just cards that were old, you could still use or whatever.
Brad introduced me to Magic the Gathering, so I started it real late. And I only really played it with him. Absolutely loved it. I wish I would have started playing that earlier because I did. I loved Magic the Gathering.
That's who I played with.
Oh, I have no doubt.
That was an every night thing.
One thing I did want to point out, and I wrote this note down. I want to make sure I covered it. We are self-admitted lifelong geeks, which to say that out loud, current year, in a room full of people, and half the people in that room they'd say that, yeah, me too. It's a very common thing. But when you think about all the things we collected, all of our fandoms, all the things we geeked out about when we were younger, like we kind of had to fight for our fandom because it wasn't mainstream. A lot of these things, like collecting cards, sports cards, sure. Collecting CDs, sure. But like video games, some of the little stuff we collect, geek culture wasn't mainstream then the way it is now. The way that we loved wrestling when we were younger. People still got made fun of for that kind of thing, playing video games. It wasn't mainstream the way it is now. So that is one thing that I think is fundamentally different about us getting into this stuff as a young person versus the way it is for, say, our kids. Like I was just telling you before we recorded this, my daughter made a Jawa costume for a convention we went to and spent literally 6 or 8 weeks doing it, and like, awesome. But I wouldn't have known anyone back when we were younger that was super stoked and out about the fact that they're making a Star Wars character costume from scratch. Like, It's a different world we live in. I think it's a beautiful thing that people embrace their fandoms and lean into it, and there's forums and meeting places and that kind of stuff. But we didn't have that necessarily back in the day, except for the kids on your block or the kids you went to school with that you could get together and kind of chat with about it. And maybe that's why recess was so important, why lunch was so important, that you can come and show your stuff. Like, hey, look what I got. And because that was like, it was it. That was your forum.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to, you had said collectibles through McDonald's. Like I'm staring at your Batman Forever glass that came from there, which I had a couple of those too. What was your favorite item to collect from McDonald's?
That.
The Batman glass cups?
Yeah. I didn't care for Beanie Babies, and that was a huge thing with McDonald's. I didn't care for Beanie Babies. I didn't. But I love that. There, and I don't remember, was there 3 or 4 of them?
I think there was 4.
4. I love that so much because to me, that is a quality thing. I mean, look at it. It's still standing up. It isn't still that way with the stuff you get from McDonald's. Those are very chintzy, cheaply made, but that's good. That's a quality product.
No, now you get a lot of things. It's just paper.
That's true.
Like a work packet or something like that.
It's very, very true.
Action figures, going back to that, did you ever have the Batman 89 where his belt was like his grappling hook?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and no, I did not. I would have loved to have, but I did not.
But did you notice that? So that was the 89 Batman. Same packaging and everything, though. They would throw in the characters from the 60s TV series.
I did not, but that's really cool. Yeah. I also think, too, again, fandom is different then than it is now. Like if you look at a content drop, right, find out about something coming out, you can go online and you can see high quality videos and images of all of that stuff before it ever drops. And then once it gets in the wild, many thousands more images and videos to see every little detail of it. But when we were younger, we often didn't know a thing existed until we seen it in the store. So how many things can you really think of where growing up, you even had the ability to have an entire collection, complete collection of something? Like that was hard back then.
Yeah. And I see toys for sale now, or I'm like, I didn't know they had that then. Like I always knew like the turtle layer existed and the turtle van.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there was a Technodrome.
I knew there was a Technodrome because I seen it in a commercial, like a toy commercial, but I never seen one in real life.
Yeah, I never saw one in the store even.
Yeah, and that's so weird. Like regionally speaking, like you could talk to someone who grew up on a different part of the country, and they seen different toys than you did. Like it just wasn't like Amazon. Have it the next day, whatever you want.
Yeah, and like Batman, the Batmobile. I never saw the Batmobile, but I saw you remember that car that you got with Bruce Wayne in it? He had like the purple shirt, but then you could put the Bat costume on him, I think. But it wasn't a Batmobile, it was some kind of convertible looking car.
So I vaguely remember something car-esque where it would, like the center part would rotate and like you go from being Bruce Wayne to Batman. It was essentially 2 different action figures, just compartmentalized.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't remember. But still, it wasn't the actual Batmobile. It was a completely different kind of car, not even in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, I'd have to look that up. All right. Anything else before we get to the $50,000 question that I have for you?
No, just there's a lot of stuff back in the day that are collectibles now. And not that anything I had would have been worth money because I had to open up everything. I couldn't keep anything sealed.
Yeah,
like
Dave,
that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that wasn't heard of back then.
It's like, why is it sealed? Like, if my mom knew I had something that was sealed, oh, well, you don't want it, so let's get rid of it.
I think my mom would take it personal.
Yeah.
Like, you had me buy you that toy, you're not even going to play with it? No, unheard of. All right, you ready for this?
All right.
Oh, yeah. This excites me a lot more. It's going to excite you. Just fair warning, buddy. So, we're family men now. So, anytime we come into any kind of windfall, we typically think of our families first. So I want to set the table and say, Dave, I'm going to wave this magic wand. And what's going to happen is I'm going to give you the ability to your family to be set for life, completely taken care of, no problems, right? but there's a condition that comes with it. You have to agree to step into a time machine, $50,000 in hand. You're going to go back 20 years, not all the way to your childhood, 20 years. You have to spend that money, every bit of that money, on things that you wish you still had that you don't. Or even things that you wanted back then you just couldn't afford because you couldn't find them. They cost too damn much. They were incredibly rare, that kind of thing.
Well, that would take it to 2005, and I'm not sure what was really in the market then.
Probably things that were easier to get then than now. Let me throw a couple off the top of my list, my personal list, and maybe it'll get the gears turning for you. You ready? Okay. So I have 8 things signed here. The Marvel trading card box set, the Dream Team box set, I could still find now, but probably like 20 times more expensive. If I'm back 20 years ago, I could probably find it somewhere on eBay for 10 or 20 bucks. So that would be like an easy decision for me. Same thing with consoles. Okay, we've had our conversation. You have a lot of your old school consoles, Dave. I don't. So the minute I step out of my time machine, that top 3 on my list is I'm looking for new in-box SNES and N64, Genesis, Dreamcast, NES, Wii. Now, that might end up costing me 20 years ago. It's still available. So maybe I'm only spending a couple grand to get all those things. Like, to me, that's a damn good use of a couple grand if I'm going to spend that money anyway. Your wheels turning yet?
Yeah, I would do the sealed consoles, sealed games, complete in box.
Ooh, I didn't think about games.
And then, I mean, you got to think of the cost of vehicles back then. Like a Honda S2000 or a Viper. Even for a lot of the Corvette enthusiasts, you get one of those older ones that would have been cheaper. It's worth more now. Special edition ones of that.
How about something that maybe you could do then, you couldn't do now? I'd go to a Linkin Park concert. Linkin Park is still performing, but we both know Mr. Chet Bennington is not the front man anymore.
Yeah, I think maybe I would probably invest in Amazon.
No investing. Remember, you're set. You're financially. This has to be for you. This is for Dave. Watch this. I said $50,000. It's a very specific number. Okay. One of my lists is a Kobe Bryant signed ball and a Jordan signed ball. Now, if I tried to get a Kobe Bryant signed ball and a Jordan signed ball today, there goes my 50 grand. Okay. You see what I'm getting at? And I'm not exaggerating. I've looked at Kobe Bryant signed balls and they're like 20 grand. And same thing with Jordan because he doesn't do signings. But back then, 20 years ago, I could have found both of those things probably relatively cheap. Jordan might have cost me 3 or 4 grand. Hell of a lot cheaper than now.
I think maybe one thing I would have got was, what was it? The first edition Air, the Jordan Airs.
Yeah.
What was it, like a 2-pair set?
I think so.
And like the box, you would take the slip cover off the boxes and the boxes would open up and you'd have a pair on each side.
Yeah. Yeah, those are beautiful. That's a deep hole, my friend.
I think I'd probably maybe get that.
That's a deep hole, my friend. Going back 20 years as a sneakerhead, you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I don't even know what year those would have came out.
Doesn't matter. It would have been a hell of a lot cheaper then than now. You just got to explain to your wife why you have like a tractor trailer full of unboxed shoes in your backyard.
And toys. I'd probably get all the turtle stuff I could get sealed.
For me, yes, turtles. I have it written down here. Van, the drone. I have this written down. The drone, the lair. I had the lair, by the way, growing up. The blimp. The blimp, Dave.
That and all the G.I. Joe vehicles. Probably mostly the vehicles and everything.
Those are damn hard to find then.
Yeah. And the fact that I never had them to begin with. Most of them.
That's what I mean. That enormous carrier, the G.I. Joe carrier, it's like 5 foot long or something crazy.
You know, I think I might have had that too.
Did you really? That's amazing, Dave.
Yeah, because like you could put a few figures in there. But like on top, I think it had like miniature planes or something. But as far as who I would go back and see or something like that, I think I would have to go back even further just so I could see Jordan. like in his prime.
Hmm. Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
And then maybe somebody like Michael Jackson when they were in their prime.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson, Prince.
So I would have to go back a little more than 20 years for that. But
I'm gonna throw some random ones at you. I would hunt down the Power Rangers Dragon Flute,
Dragon Zord.
the flute for the Green Ranger.
Yeah, the Dragon Zord flute.
Yeah, and the White Tiger Sword. I only seen those. I even knew different kids when I was younger that had them, and the motherfuckers would not let me touch them. Not so much put a finger on, just to hold it. I just wanted to hold that dragon flute. It looks so cool.
What was it? The dagger. It was Saba.
Saba. Yep. Yep.
Saba the saber, I think.
I might grab the Falcon sword because I really like the Falcon sword. But that's really the only Power Ranger stuff. Those things. Those things.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. Maybe like the Green Ranger helmet and the gold pads.
Was that a thing?
It was a toy thing, but it was also like a real thing.
I didn't know that.
Like you can get like a helmet made with really good quality, like an actual helmet.
That would be cool. That would be really cool. It'd be kind of big, but it'd be a hell of a display piece.
Well, the size of a motorcycle helmet.
Oh, that's a fair point.
And then you get that autographed by Tommy himself.
Yes, that's the other thing, right? Is if I'm going back, I'm gonna get the things I can't get now first and foremost. Like I would get something autographed by Linkin Park. You can find those today, but they're exceedingly expensive. Kevin Conroy, my Batman. I would love an autographed signed cowl, but I would have wanted to go to a con back when he was still going to them and actually meet him and hand him the thing to sign, get a picture like that. That would be on my list as well.
Yeah, he's definitely the Batman voice.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. All right. So did I adequately throw you with that question?
It was harder because of the year 2005. Probably
Sure.
would have been easier if it was further back.
Well, presumably everything you can get in 95 should still be available in 2005. Or a hell of a lot easier to get in 2005 than where we are today.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And that was kind of my point with the Jordan and Kobe reference. Like I would love, I have a signed, at least one signed basketball in my office, and there's another one that I'm targeting for Mr. Dirk Nowitzki. But like, I would love to have a Jordan or Kobe, but I don't want to sell my car to get one.
Yeah, and actually, I'm kind of doing that with my movies nowadays
Mhm.
because you can't just go to Walmart and get any one you want anymore. So it's more exclusive to collectors,
Mhm.
and you have to go through different websites to get these things. So a lot of them do go out of print and end up costing a lot of money. So I keep that in mind with a lot of my movies that I buy now. Like I said, I just got the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K Steelbook collection. There's only 15,000 of those right now, and they're going for a lot already. And that just came out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Not that I'm ever going to sell them, but just to know that I have that in my collection and that some of them are worth so much now.
Well, and full transparency, the things that I listed that would be on my buy list if I were to take that hypothetical time machine ride, it's nothing that I would ever want to sell. To your point, right? I want them because I love those things. I love what they represent. I love what they meant to me, which I think is sort of the point with the things that we collected as a kid, right? There are things that make us feel a certain way and bring us joy to look at and handle and play with. And yeah, I think that really captures the energy of the episode as we sit recording this in a room full of my geeky stuff. It's important, I think. If you can, if you have the opportunity to surround yourself with stuff that inspires you, why not?
Well, it's visually appealing too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen YouTube videos where it's like this person has a whole room of this collection. They walk into a room where it's nothing but turtle stuff covering the whole room. I could sit in there and be happy just looking at everything.
Yeah. I think that's I'll chase that feeling though. I think if the listeners take anything away from this episode, is we should chase that feeling. It shouldn't be fleeting. It shouldn't be, well, it was appropriate for a certain point in my life. It's like, no, it's always appropriate to feel good about about the fandoms that inspired us, and to not forget about them and embrace them. And I think that's what we did a lot in this episode. So I personally really appreciate that, Dave, and appreciate taking that journey with me, because it's fun. I've been looking forward to recording this episode for a good little while now.
It definitely takes us back and makes you regret a lot.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And call yourself stupid because you didn't know.
Oh gosh, yeah. Again, loaded questions from a teenage girl. Oh, is there anything you regret getting rid of? Yes, every fucking thing. Everything I've ever gotten rid of that I loved. All of it. Okay, that's the answer, kid. All of it. But anyways, I think we're good. So we'll go ahead and shut her down. It's been great. Catch us on the next episode. Again, I am your host, Gina Rona.
Everybody's Dave. Catch y'all later.
See ya.